Literally just hours after California Governor Jerry Brown signed his state's net neutrality bill into law, the Justice Department announced a lawsuit against the state in order to get that law overturned. Now, additionally, about a week later, we saw a number of tech companies, specifically their lobbyists, team up for another lawsuit against the state of California just to make sure that, if that Justice Department lawsuit doesn't go their way, they have a backup plan. Now, in legal briefs, we're starting to hear what these companies are saying and why they're against California's lawsuit. So we have this headline from Ars Technica by John Brodkin that I want to read to you because I think it's absolutely hilarious. Quote, Comcast complains it will make less money under California net neutrality law. Comcast fears it won't be able to charge online platforms for interconnection. You poor things. I feel so horrible for Comcast, don't you? Now, obviously, if you're a Comcast customer, then you know that they have absolutely no problem randomly raising rates, suddenly imposing data caps on your internet service. They don't care. But when it comes to them, everyone should feel bad for them because, this law might inhibit their ability to make even more money from companies and consumers. I don't think any of us have any fucks to give. Sorry, Comcast. We're playing the world's tiniest violin for you right about now. But let's go ahead and get to the article itself because there's some more details from John Brodkin, and he explains California's net neutrality law will cause, quote, significant lost revenues for Comcast, the nation's largest cable company said in a court filing this month. Comcast described the net neutrality law's potential impact on its ability to charge online service providers and network operators for network interconnection. The paid interconnection provisions will harm Comcast's ability to enter into new, mutually beneficial interconnection agreements with edge providers that involve consideration, leading to a loss of existing and prospective interconnection partners and significant loss of revenues, Comcast Senior VP Ken Clower wrote in the filing in U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of California. Edge provider is the industry term for websites and other online platforms such as Netflix and Google. Comcast submitted its filing on October 3rd as part of the broadband industry lawsuit that seeks to overturn California's net neutrality law, which is slated to take effect on January 1st of 2019, unless the court grants a stay halting implementation. Comcast's filing is meant to support the industry's request for an injunction that would halt enforcement of the law while litigation is pending. The California law's actual impact on network interconnection deals is not clear-cut. The law explicitly prohibits blocking and throttling and bans paid prioritization in the last mile portions of broadband networks that lead directly to consumers' homes. The law also prohibits ISPs from requiring payment in exchange for delivering internet traffic to consumers, but the law applies a different standard to network interconnection, a type of traffic exchange that happens at the edge of each broadband provider's network. The law says that ISPs like Comcast may not engage in interconnection practices that have the purpose or effect of evading the prohibitions of the net neutrality law. In other words, Comcast can't block or slow down traffic at interconnection points, and it can't make paid interconnection the only viable option for reaching Comcast customers. Comcast famously courted controversy when it required Netflix to pay for interconnection. Netflix has been paying Comcast since 2014, but previously argued that interconnection should be free since Comcast customers were requiring Netflix traffic while Netflix bore the cost of building a network to deliver that traffic directly into Comcast's network. Now, before I give you my take on that, I do want to share with you some exclusive footage that the Humanist Report obtained of Comcast Senior VP Ken Clare's reaction to the passage of California's net neutrality bill. So look, here's why they're specifically crying about this. Well, they had two pending interconnection deals, and so once Jerry Brown signed their state's net neutrality bill into law, well, that kind of throws those deals into jeopardy. So that's why they're saying this is going to cost me money. It's because, well, the language here in this particular bill It doesn't even necessarily outright ban the types of deals that Comcast signed with Netflix back in 2014. So if you'll recall, to give you some context here, back in 2014, all of a sudden, a lot of us noticed that Netflix had really low speeds. There was a lot of buffering, and it turned out that Comcast was in fact throttling bandwidth to Netflix. But in order to solve this issue, what Netflix had agreed to is a deal with Comcast where they'd pay them, and then all of a sudden, once this deal was approved, Netflix speeds for Comcast users was higher than ever. So there were 2 more deals pending, and now that may be thrown into question, not necessarily because, again, there's an outright ban on this, but because they claim the language in this law is vague enough to make this type of deal illegal. And it's also the case that AT&T is making the same argument, presumably because they also had pending deals. So look, this is argued in a lawsuit, right? So they're making the legal case, but, they're expecting others to be concerned with their bottom line. That's not our responsibility, okay? You're already doing what you can to rip off your own customers. There's a reason why Comcast was voted the most hated company in America multiple times. It's because your business practices are blatantly anti-consumer. Again, I don't have to tell you, if you're a Comcast customer, you already know. Random price hikes, the imposition of data caps with no warning or anything like that, just so they can charge you more. So now we're supposed to care that Comcast is going to make less money because of a law that protects consumers? No, we're all playing the world's tiniest violin for Comcast right now. And quite frankly, good. Fuck you, Comcast. People don't like you. Americans hate you. And the only reason why you have customers is because in a lot of communities, you have a monopoly. But the minute we get public broadband, the minute another option emerges in their communities, you lose business because we hate you. So we'll end this video by playing the tiniest violin in the world for Comcast.
Support this podcast by becoming a patron at patreon.com/Humanist Report.